Hi, my name is Christy, and this is What If It's Amazing? So in July, I went on a 1,400 kilometer bike trip, and so I wanted to talk about my sleep system. So I did a lot of research, and a lot of people were talking about quilts, and they were talking about all these inflatable mats and things. But then when I got online and I looked at prices and stuff, the quilt was $400. The mat was over $100. And I couldn't justify that just for me and a trip that I wanted to go on because I have kids and I have a partner. So I tried to find a cheaper way, which is what I always do. And so I found what I thought would work for me, and I ordered it and I took it on my trip. And surprisingly, it worked really well. So I wanted to tell you about those things. So this is my sleep system. So my sleeping bag is in here, and then my sleeping pad and my pillow are in here. And they're in this dry bag. I got the dry bag on my trip. I was in Walmart or in, I think it was Walmart because it's Ozark Trail and that's kind of a Walmart brand. But I've got two of them, one for each pannier bag, because I found out on my trip that my panniers were not waterproof. They were water resistant, but when like a big downpour came, things got damp. And so I bought these, and I was able to stuff more stuff in this dry bag. So I'll just show you what I got and how much it cost. So this is my mat. It's from Trekology. I bought it on AliExpress, and I think I paid $55 for it. And it's really small. So this is my pillow. It's actually, this is the case for the pillow, but I got the pillow in the case. I think it was $20. So $80 for the mat and the pillow. And I really like the cover for the pillow because it's like a pillow at home then, like you're not sleeping on like plasticky rubber stuff, you know, even if it's got that kind of flocked stuff on it, it doesn't feel very good to sleep on. So this is really nice to sleep on. You're not like getting that sweaty, wet feeling while you're sleeping. And then this is the mat. It came with this elastic piece to hold it all together. And it folds quite small. I can usually get it smaller. I just quickly folded it up after I used it to camp with one of the boys in the tent in the backyard. But if I'm going somewhere and I need it to be smaller, I can really focus on getting it tighter. So this is my mat. They do have a, they call it the inflator stuff sack. So it's like a stuff sack that connects to the valve, and then you just fill it with air and squish it in, and then you don't have to blow it with your mouth all the time. And for our next big trip, because we're all going, we're all getting these, and so I want to get one inflator bag, and then we can inflate them all with the one bag and not have to use. So this is the pillow. It is from, I believe, Nature Hike. I got it off of AliExpress as well. And it fits into this little case. So it just kind of, if you just give me 1 second here, it just slips into here like this and like this, and then there's like a little hole here for the valve to come through. And these valves are really awesome because there's a button here So if, I can't remember which way it is, but you'll figure it out. But you push it and all the air comes out. If you push it again, when you blow, if you come up for air and you let your mouth off, the air doesn't come out. So I like it a little bit squishy, like a regular pillow. And you can close the valve, obviously. And then this piece comes over and covers it up. And then I sleep on this side. And it's a little bit squishy. It does make a little bit of noise, but I don't seem to notice. And then when you want to deflate it, you simply open the valve, push the button, and all the air comes out. So it's really easy to use. And then the mattress is very similar. It's really long. It's not super wide. So Scott's a bigger guy, my partner, and he tried it and it fits, but like he can't lay on his back and have his arms on the mattress. So if you're a side sleeper, it's perfect. If you're a back sleeper and you're a little bit more broad than like I am, that might be an issue. So the valve has two parts on this. There's this one that you open up the whole thing and all the air comes out. And then you close that and you open, hold on, it's really tight, which is good for not letting air out. Why can't I open it? I never had a problem before. Anyway, you open the valve, blow it up, and it goes really thick. I will do that in just 1 second. Okay, so this is my pad, fully inflated. It goes quite thick. I don't know if you can see. Hold on. Let me have a look here. It's quite... Hold on. It's really long. But it is quite thick. So, like, it's really thick. It's really comfortable. And I'm able to sleep on my side and not compress it all the way. And it's fairly simple to inflate and really simple to deflate, and it goes small. So I really like that about it. And it was affordable. It was half the price of most of the other ones. And this one, I like that the baffles aren't, like some of them have really weird baffle configurations and they go really thin in some of those spots. And I worry about, you know, my old bones hitting the ground, I guess. And nowhere are there any really low spots on this one. It's all like pretty wide baffles. And so that made me feel better, just because I'm nearing 50 and I'm, you know, not in super great shape. And for me to be able to sleep on the ground, I needed it to be quite thick and quite comfortable. And so I was able to get that with this, and I really like, Scott ordered a different one off of Amazon, I believe. And it's one of the I'm not going to say self-inflating because it doesn't have the foam in it, but it has this valve that you push on and it inflates it. But because of that valve, it has to fold just like it's quite big when it's folded up, and mine is quite small. So I prefer mine over his. And then I got a quilt because I knew I wanted down, but I also knew that with a sleeping bag, the part that you lay on the bottom compresses and doesn't give any insulation anyway. So one thing that I do want to do for our upcoming big trip is I want to get everybody a fleece sleeping bag liner so that if it's a little bit cooler, you can put it inside and have some insulation on the bottom from the mattress. But for the most part, it got down to 4 degrees a couple of nights on my trip, and in July in Canada, so be prepared if you come into Canada. But I was still warm. On those nights, I did wear sweatpants, my hoodie, toque, or whatever you call it, beanie, toboggan, and socks to bed. So I was okay. With this sleeping bag, I was able to have enough space because it's a large. I could have fit in a medium, but I wanted a little bit of extra space. Because it's quilt, it doesn't have a hood to go over. So I wanted to have a little bit of extra space to, cuddle up in. And it worked really well because I rode an electric bike. So on those cold nights, I would bring the battery in, put it on inside the footbox of my quilt, and just sleep with it. And my sleeping pad is long enough that I have that extra room to put my battery down there, long ways inside my foot box, and then my feet aren't really touching it a lot, which is great. So this is my sleeping bag. I can compress it quite small. I could still go smaller. I had it as small as it went on my trip. I just did it quickly this morning to show you guys. It's in an Aegis Max extra small compression sack. And then, so once you release it, I got the compression sack off of AliExpress. You will find out that that's my favorite place to shop. So once you release the compression, it goes to about this big. And then we call it the cheese in our house because it is bright yellow. So it does have, I'm going to undo it to show you. So it does have a zipper part way up, but it does not go all the way up, if you notice. So that is to make the foot box on the bottom of the quilt. So you can unzip the zipper and make it just like a blanket, or you can zip up the zipper, tighten up this, and now you have a foot box. Or you can do the zipper up and leave this open a little bit if it's warmer or cool, warmer out, and you still want the warmth, but you want a little bit of air circulation. So you have options. And then this is one part. The other part is tucked away in a different bag, and I wasn't able to find it. But basically, this is my pad strap. So there's another piece that clips into here and clips on the other side of the bag. And then it goes under the pad. So it kind of holds, so like your pad is here, and then your quilt is here, and it kind of holds the sides of the quilt down so that when you're moving around, it doesn't come up and, your butt's not hanging out and getting cold. It worked really well for me. And then what I do is there's these clips here. So I just clip it here, put that behind my back, my neck, and then I'm able to tighten up this, which tightens up around here a bit to keep the drafts out, or I just tuck it. It works really well with tucking. Anyway, it stays really, really warm. It kept me very warm. I'm just going to release it a bit because I've got some tension here. But it's quite wide. I mean, Scott's 6'1" or 6'2", and he's a big guy, and he's able to use this quite well. So he used it when they camped in the yard, and he was fine. So he's getting one as well. When I bought this, I paid $90 Canadian for it. And now I'm noticing that they're about $112, $120, somewhere around there, depending on which vendor you buy from. It's rated to, I believe, 5 degrees. And I used it in a little bit colder situations and it was okay. So I would say like 5 degrees. And for me, that's good because I'm not a winter camper anymore. And we do plan on getting the fleece sleeping bag liner that we can use on the inside, which will give us probably another 10 degrees. So it would be good to probably zero then. But I don't think that we're going to be camping out in 0-degree weather anyway. So this is my sleep setup. It works really, really well for me. It fits well into this dry bag, which fits into my pannier bag. And I was able to get my night clothes in here as well as a few other things. And so on this trip, I did not bring a stove. I just kind of ate from grocery stores. And I think that's what we'll do when we go on our big trip, although we do plan on bringing a stove because there will be 4 of us and it will be cheaper to cook meals than eat out. We will eat out once in a while, but probably not a lot. So I haven't disclosed what the big trip is. We are planning for that, and we will do a video about the details of our big trip at another date. But right now I just wanted to show you my sleep system and how well it worked for me, and the fact that I was able to get my sleeping bag, my pad, and my pillow for under $200. And generally speaking, a quilt will run you about $300, and the mattress will run you about $100, and then the pillows, depending on where you get it from, can go from $20 to $50. So, you know, I saved a big chunk of change there. Yeah. So as time goes on, I will do more videos about my gear, as well as the gear that we buy for the kids and for Scott. Because right now we just have my gear that I bought for my July trip. And so we're gathering gear for everyone else because we will be camping on our next adventure. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. All of these things that I've bought can be bought online, with the exception of the dry bag from Walmart. But you can find dry bags on Amazon or on AliExpress. I'm not sure how many liters this one is. It was on the packaging, but I don't have the packaging anymore. But this sleeping bag is called Ice Flame. If you type in Ice Flame Quilt into AliExpress, you will find it. This is the Nature Hike pillow. And the other one is Trekology. I think it's the Trekology Ultralight Sleeping Pad. With this quilt, they do have the sleeping bag straps. I think they're like $3 or $4 per strap. And I bought 2. And 2 was more than enough. Like I didn't think it would be, but it was more than enough. Because I put one near the bottom and then one up a little bit higher. And then I had the part around the back of my neck. And I was plenty warm. It just kept everything tucked in. Getting it to the right tension can be a bit tricky to start out with, but you play around with it and you figure it out. So yeah, and then with the Trekology Ultralight Sleeping Pad, I would recommend getting the inflation sack as well. It just prevents you from, blowing and blowing and blowing and blowing. You can just kind of gather air and then put it, like squish it, and it goes in. But I really appreciate both of them, all of them, and super easy. This, I think I paid maybe $10 for, it wasn't very much. It's the extra small size. I think if I got a small or even a medium size, I would be able to fit my sleeping bag and my sleeping clothes in, and have them all together. Because what I ideally would like to do is have all of my sleeping clothes in the foot box of my quilt, and then it all into one of these compression bags, so that everything is together for my sleeping kit. And it would just make things easier. However, now that we're going to be doing a big group trip, I may just keep doing this, because we can have sleeping bags all in one dry sack, and and then sleeping mats, and then whatever. It doesn't really matter how it works out. We'll show you that later once we have everything organized. We don't even have all the gear yet. But yeah, so I do like this size. It works really well for that. When it first came and I saw it, I thought there's no way that quilt is going to fit in here. But I was able to get it in and squish it, and it's still compressed a lot smaller. So it was great. So for $200, I got a quilt, a sleeping mat, and a pillow. And you can look around on AliExpress or on Amazon and see what you want, but I highly recommend these ones. They worked really well for me, and they kept me warm, and I'm quite cold often, and I was good. One thing I really like about this is back in January of 2020, I did a Europe and England trip, and it was cold a lot on that trip. And I would have really appreciated having this really small mat, because I spent 4 nights in airports sleeping on the ground. And so it would have been nice to have a mat like this that compresses really small, and my pillow, and didn't take a lot of room in because I just had a little backpack. Would have been nice to have that and this cheese to be able to sleep comfortably in an airport, but not take up a lot of space. So if I ever do another trip like that, I will have the gear to do that. So that's my video. I hope you found it helpful. Highly recommend all the gear I've mentioned today. If you want to know more about traveling on a budget or traveling full-time, I have other videos as well on all kinds of different topics. So take a look in the library, see what you can find. See you next time.